time later on. So, and all that helps on the front end. If we can standardize that as a state instead of just we have a diversion program here in Baton Rouge that we run and we work with the DA and the court on, but we can duplicate that throughout the state,
right?
And then help kind of decrease the backlog in the case log and stuff like that. We got several other ones. I'm going to scroll through. Yeah, we got one for reentry, so when you're coming out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we found, and since we started our capital area prisoner reentry initiative a couple of years ago, which is basically we group together all the community-based resource providers, DOC, everybody dealing with people coming out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
We put them together, just like we did with CJCC. We put them together in a room. We started talking about ways that we can make the transition from prison back to society as seamless as possible.
Okay.
One of the two biggest things is having permanent housing and having a job. But a lot of people run into those are instant roadblocks that they run into because being a convicted felon coming out with no means, no nothing, it's hard to get a place to live.
Right.
It's hard to get a job that's sustainable, that pays a living wage.
Right.
So we're doing some work now with Lobby and with some other groups right on crime. We just had a good discussion a couple weeks ago with the Administration for Criminal Justice Committee about some of the things that we can do to engage employers to be more apt to hire people coming out of prison
mm-hmm.
and get them in and get them working, cutting down some of the roadblocks those people run.
How deep does that stigma run?
Pretty deep.
I would imagine so. Yeah, that's not surprising.
We've done a lot of work locally, and then also across the state. There's been people trying to do a lot of work. A lot of it's, there's a tax credit for employers who mm-hmm. hire formerly incarcerated. There's a free bond that they can get to protect themselves when they hire, and a lot of this is about really educating the employers on what the benefits are. And they'll find like the people that they're hiring, they want to come, they want to get a job, they want to make money, they want to just get a place to live. And they'll be good employees if they're given the chance.
Right. The hard part is given the chance though.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see, I don't want to say the tide shift, but at least the conversation shift. I know I've talked with Lobby about this on a number of different occasions. And I've spoken with Andrew over at Parole Project as well. And we're now finally talking about this in terms of it is a workforce issue as well. So like we're in need. The workforce is a need on that end. But it's also, the recent messaging that as I take away from conversations is that if you want to reduce or come as close to eliminating recidivism as you can, give them a job.
Yep.
And that is like the number one. The place to live will follow the job, right?
But it needs to. Those are the two main things. If
right.
you can get a permanent housing where you don't need to worry about where you're sleeping that night.
Right.
And if you have a steady job that's providing a living wage, something that you can get in, you can buy your groceries, you can do this. A lot of these guys are coming back to families,
mm-hmm.
And ladies are coming back to families. They have kids, they have things, and if they don't have a partner, they have to then start providing and supporting for those. So it's easy to come out. We see this in our diversion program. They come out of treatment and they go right into working at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or something like that, which isn't a bad job. But that's not going to provide them the money they need to be able to pay their own bills, pay their own rent, support their children. And we need to work at a tier above that for this.
So and part of the onus here is on the employer.
Yes.
But another part of the onus is on the employee and the potential employee. They have got to be job ready.
Yep.
Where are you at on that front?
So, and the Capital Area Prisoner Reentry Initiative has a lot of agencies within it that work on job readiness. Whether it's coaching for interviews or it's financial literacy, they can get all these services free coming out. We hold an event every week or every month called Second Chance Tuesday. It's the second Tuesday of every month,
mm-hmm.
and that is a reentry resource fair for anybody coming back out of prison or anybody wrapped up in the criminal justice system that needs resources. If you need help getting a quick card, or if you need help finding employment, if you need help with housing, substance abuse, any of that. If you need a cell phone, there's the provider there that comes and gives out cell phones. It's called Second Chance Tuesday. It's second Tuesday of every month at the main library. And that's a good place if they don't know where they're at and they want to start getting connected. And then from there, the people they'll talk to, we're all part of the same network now. So if they need something they don't have, they'll connect them with another resource provider that's in our network, and we're hoping to kind of get it done that way.
What's the mission up here in Washington?
Up here in Washington, we're hoping that the federal funds for a lot of the justice improvement initiatives are opened back up. So we're talking with a lot of legislators up here about trying to see how that looks. I think Louisiana is primed to do a lot of these new initiatives, especially around reentry and about case processing. We also have one of the initiatives that we're working on is the Victims and Survivors Support Act, and that's something we can hopefully push through at the Capitol, and it'll basically set up a fund, a better use of the fund for victims and survivors, so they can get immediate help rather than have to go through a lot of hurdles to get the help they need as a victim and survivor. We work closely, the YWCA is part of our board, so we work closely with them. We helped start the Domestic Violence Intervention Court here in Baton Rouge, which focuses on the victims, but it also focuses on the defendants and getting them the services they need so they don't offend again. So it's a holistic court, and we've been doing it for about a year and a half, and it's going well so far.
Very good stuff. He is Chris Salko with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. Thank you so much for a couple minutes.
Not a problem.
Absolutely. You got a dinner to get to, so
I
get
do.
on out of here.
I do.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 1. That's next on Talk 107.3.
Perfect, sir.
All right.
Always working, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, after this, I've got dinner, and then.
Where are you guys going to be?
Oh, you going with Chris?
Yeah, me,
I
Chris,
think I was just talking to him down the bar.
Andrew, and
Andrew Ward?
yeah.
Yeah, he was in my leadership, but I like him. He's a good guy.
No, he is
Dude,
solid.
the boot, one of the best things that they could have thought of.
Well, again, workforce, right?
Yep.
Oh, and David St. Romain.
David, yeah, we went to and from the event with David.
MXDC Cocina Mexicana,
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what they're saying.
best Mexican restaurant in DC.
Okay,
All right.
we'll see. I appreciate it. Hope the rest of the show runs smooth. How much longer you're on?
Another hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope your other people show up.
Ah, thank you.
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Jason French, new Chief of Staff at LSU Chief of Staff.
Hey.
Bruce, just want to say hello.
Good to meet you.
And SVP of External Relations. So
Awesome.
sure we'll have some opportunities to work together over here.
Yeah.
Glad this worked out for you. You can
Oh,
work
this
with
has
you.
been awesome.
Yeah,
So,
good, good.
yeah.
Everything's-
You're good.
Sorry.
No, you're
I didn't know y'all were in here, so I came in to duck in to have quiet time.
Yeah,
I missed mine.
Sorry to crash spot time.
You did it. You did it. You did it. You're doing your thing.
So, no, this has been so far fantastic. It's been awesome.
Good. We're good. If you ever need anything, I'm sure you're tied into our comms folks. But
Yeah.
they're in my shop now, so if there's anything
And
you ever
y'all
need.
just brought Mitch on board?
Yeah, yep, it's just this is which is the second week, I guess.
That's awesome. He's good.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's already been a great addition. I told him I'm gonna load him up with work.
You have a card on you?
Don't have them.
No.
They were on one of the planes that were supposed to get here and they didn't make it. So
Yeah,
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah.
Washington Mardi Gras without a business card.
yeah, we've only been there 2 months and it took a little while to get them. So,
But Mitch has his.
Yes.
Mitch does
Well, I
have-
don't
Mitch has his own
Yeah.
business cards. That's what made me think about it.
I don't even, yeah.
I was saying,
Everything.
Yeah.
exactly. He has a little history in LSU. He knows.
Yeah.
But I'll get in touch with you. I know, I think, was Kelsey talking to you to get set up in here? Kelsey's who came to me to ask.
I was dealing with Lauren.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
Kelsey, once we got here, Kelsey was handling
Okay.
everything on the ground.
All right.
Yeah. Did all this for Lauren.
Well, I'll get in touch with you. I'm sure I can find your email, shoot you my contact
Yeah.
information.
Absolutely.
All right, let's stay in
I
touch.
work for Gordon, so. like,
Okay,
it's-
yeah, that's it.
It's
All
all the same.
Yeah.
All the same.
All right, take care.
Y'all too.
Hello?
Yeah, hey, oh, sorry, nothing but shadow right there.
I'm sorry.
You had the yellow light in the backdrop.
Yeah, I was like, okay, but you're in a different spot this year.
I know,
So,
I
you-
know. So,
Very
good to
good.
see you. I'm very good.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thanks.
Let me close out hour number one and then open up hour number two. Punch Train Conservancy, is that anybody like, you're gonna keep driving this one over the River? Okay.
I mean,
I didn't want to make a topic out of it, it's not something we talk about.
I could touch on it
Okay,
if you want to touch on it, but I can't get into the details.
okay. What is
Yeah.
bad?
What, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, I've been following enough to know it's bad.
Yeah, I got a buddy who lives like right on the river. He's been pulling the samples out every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gross.
That's- Yeah.
Hopping back in here to close out hour number one, talking to you a little bit about what, oh, that's me. Hopping back in here to close out hour number one. This is our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras, of course, presented by Presley Wealth Management, the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, Restore the Mississippi River Delta, and the folks over at Rev. By the way, speaking of the folks over at Rev, let me give you a quick little rundown on them because they hopped on board the last 2 years to help sponsor this coverage. And so often when we're up here, if we have sponsors, we try to bring them on. In fact, Christy Trail from the Pontchartrain Conservancy is going to join us to lead off the next hour. And they're tied into Restore the Mississippi River Delta. But the folks over at Rev have not been able to jump on with us. So we'll hook up with them when we get back home. But if you want to learn more, letsrev.com, letsrev.com, whether you're talking residential or business, whether you're talking about, phone or internet. I know it's all internet right now. And what they're doing it faster than anybody else out there. Unbelievable service. And, oh, by the way, local, like used to be ETEL, right? Still in our own backyard, still our own people. The speed is outstanding. The service is outstanding. And the people are outstanding. Learn more at letsrev.com. So, been a big day today at Washington Mardi Gras. Friday always is, because Friday is basically the last day of business, as it were. The Economic Development Luncheon, I was not able to go this year, but I did get a lot of recon from it. We had Paul Sawyer in earlier in the hour, and he was talking a little bit about it. So the way it breaks down is all of Louisiana's delegations up there on the dais, and they'll all speak on different parts of the economy and whatnot. And then the governor speaks, and there's a special guest speaker. We learned this morning, before the speaker, the special guest speaker is always a surprise. We learned this morning on the show, kind of spoiled the surprise a little bit. Susan Bourgeois did, because she heads up economic development for the state of Louisiana. She said on my morning show, Howard Lutnick was going to be today's surprise speaker. He is the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. So, number one, that tells you right there, swinging a heavy bat, right? Bringing in some big hitters. And what Paul recapped, and I'll go ahead and recap, the Cliff Notes version of what he had to say was what we're doing in Louisiana right now, the alignment that we're showing, the coordination we're showing. We are matching all of our resources, which our resources are plenty. We have tons of them between, the river, the rail, the air, the road, all of it. When you talk about our resources for logistics, our resources for transportation, that's to say nothing of our resources, what nature provides us as well. You combine that with an economic development department, a governor's office, and a legislature and a legislative delegation in D.C. that's all pushing in the same direction or rowing in the same direction. When you combine all of those things, Louisiana's on the verge to pop. And this morning when we had Susan Bourgeois on the show, she was talking about, I want to say it was $287 billion worth of economic investment that's on their hit list right now. Their top 25 accounts that they're going out for. The list is larger than 25, but she was continuing about the top 25 accounts that they're going after on a regular basis. Man, be on the lookout. What we saw over the last 2 years, Meta, Hyundai, CF Industries, then the Woodside, $17 billion investment yesterday. Woodside, a $17 billion investment into Southwest Louisiana was made yesterday. And then, if you follow that up with the stuff that LSU is doing in the cybersecurity space with the U.S. Army, more details on that to come. That's one that I can't give the details on it yet. I just can tell you that there's numerous agreements in place, and that's ready to just really, really accelerate, where LSU is showing LSU's brand. Just amazing stuff. So all the things, man, all the things combining to where we are looking at 2026 should be a good year. 2027 should be even better. And once we get into 2027, when you combine this many years worth of huge announcements, well, now you get to the part where that which was announced in 2024 or 2025, you roll over to where those jobs are actually being fulfilled at this point. We got, 7,300 new jobs were announced in 2025. Let's get those people hired. Let's get those people buying houses. Let's get those people being either Louisiana residents or current Louisiana residents with a higher income. That's where that is headed. So unbelievable stuff on the economic development front. Most of the this Washington Mardi Gras that I've talked about or that I've encountered, maybe I'm just in the wrong part of the hallway, but it has been on the economic development front. That being said, to this point right now, and if nothing's been announced by this point, I don't think we're going to see anything huge as far as a splash on the political front. Not a whole lot of political scuttlebutt right now. And I really, really attribute that to the early primaries, the closed primary. Moving primaries up to May means that everybody's already buttoned up. Everybody is, ready to rock and roll and do their thing. So we'll talk in our next hour with political strategist Zach Kilshaw. In fact, we'll close out the show with him. Maybe see if there is, if there's any kind of scuttlebutt brewing out there. But if not, is it because we're already in the third quarter of that game? All right, we got to break it for the top of the hour. When we come back, Christy Trail from the Pontchartrain Conservancy joins us next. This is Talk 107.3's coverage of Washington Mardi Gras. All right, quick newscast and then we're good to go with 606.
Why water in here, huh?
There's a machine. In fact, I'll grab
Yeah, but it's turned off and I couldn't get it on.
This one or this one?
Oh, that one's off. Is there another one over here?
Yeah, right on the door.
Okay, there was like people over here, so it isn't.
Yeah, and he introduced himself to me, and you ever have somebody introduce themselves to you, they say their name so fast, you miss it, and you don't stop them?
What was it?
Yeah, and then, once the conversation continues, you're like, well, I can't go back and ask you now.
Right, as you're talking.
Oh,
Struggling.
that's going to be another. Let me just see what happens. Yeah. All right, how about
Hey. Thank you.
just the water? Just a little mini king cake? Yeah. Oh, it's just a cookie with a king cake icing.
So you weren't able to go to the luncheon today, I heard you saying?
No, I did not have a ticket for it, and I had travel problems. So
Oh, okay.
rather than continuing to beg for tickets, I went and got American Airlines on the phone. And I got to tell you, borderline pleasant experience.
Oh, okay.
It
Getting
was
here?
no getting here was an ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
The customer service end.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they were dealing with so much.
I was like, I'm
It was
surprised
so-
because they've got to be exhausted.
but they canceled all kinds of flights,
Right.
and What you say, Kelly?
Hey, Brian, how you doing, bud?
I'm golden. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain, man. I was just calling to find out, did you get the information to register for the parade?
I don't know.
It should have went to your email, because they had your email information.
Uh-huh.
The registration, they're gonna have it open to the end of the month, and then they may extend it.
Is this new?
Yeah, it's just for the people that march with us every year. It's the
Okay.
register to get your shirt size and all that stuff.
Okay,
It's $140. They're doing it for like accountability, trying.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly, so Baton Rouge has been hitting me up as well, and I've been actively ignoring parade emails, so I probably have it, thinking it was a Baton Rouge one. But man, I apologize. I'm doing an afternoon drive show today, so let me get back on the air, and I will take care of it as soon as I can. You're good, brother. You're all good. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye. Is this us? Are we in? Okay, 2 minutes. No, okay.
Okay.
All right. Oh, and we're always on Facebook Live. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Sawyer was like, okay, you're up next. I was like, wait, it's 6 o'clock, right? So.
Oh, did you have 6 o'clock?
It's 6 o'clock.
It is now. I had you at 5:15.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I got multiple confirmations 6 o'clock.
From Simone?
Yes.
Shame on Simone.
I'm sorry. I
No.
hope I didn't mess anything up then.
No. This one's it's kind of loosey goosey. It's kind of loosey goosey in a little more. It's not as tight a schedule as the morning.
Yeah.
So every guest who came in, I just pivot them up one until
So you had an
made
open
it.
spot.
Yeah, yeah. And then Paul sent me your contact, but I think it was an office number.
Well,
And
he
then
texted me, so
Christy sent me a contact, and it had just your email. Not Christy, Simone sent me your contact, but it was just your email. So.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I apologize. I was ready.
No,
I was just sitting in my room.
Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. It's all good. So.
I just told you I wasn't listening though. I was checking emails, but okay. Okay. So, are there certain things you want to talk about? What do you want
No,
to do?
where do you want to take it?
I mean, we can talk about some good things going on in the coastal restoration space. Again, I'm happy to touch on the Smitties, but I really don't have a lot of the details.
Good.
There's an annual plan open for public comment. I don't know if Liz touched on that yesterday, if you already covered all that.
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. It's the state's annual.
We talked a
coastal
lot
plan.
more about overall coastal,
Okay.
which I'm more than happy to do again. But
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of do that too.
well, the beauty part about doing one morning and one afternoon is
Different
lot of different
listeners.
audience,
Okay. And we got a new grant.
last hour before we clock out for Washington Mardi Gras, or at least for our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras. Brian Haldane here with you. Kate Wazan back in the 180 Pros studio back in Baton Rouge. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. Learn more at 180pros.com. And we are kicking off our last hour. We talked about Restore the Mississippi River Delta. Going to welcome back Christy Trail to the show. She is with the Pontchartrain Conservancy, and all those things are intertwined. How are you?
I'm great. Having fun up here at Washington Mardi Gras.
Yeah. What highlights so far have been what?
Well, I've been eating a lot of really good food, which you would expect from Louisiana events. But I just went to a really cool event just before this session at the Irish Consulate here in DC.
I was going to tag along to that.
Okay.
Okay, and I need to put that one on my calendar because I hear that's awesome.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, the view is amazing. Where their office is really close to the White House. So
Okay.
beautiful view of the White House, and it's freezing outside, as you know.
Yes.
We're not used to this cold weather in Louisiana, so up here, just being in the single digits, it's freezing, but it's a sunny day, so it's still
Yes.
a pretty day. So the view from their office, up on the 7th floor, looking at the White House, meeting the Irish ambassador, just something different. It was just something different, learning about the connections between Louisiana and the Irish.
Well, and there are plenty. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
that's so is it states? I want to say State Senator Beth Mizell is deep into this and connecting all of our roots and whatnot.
Yes,
which I love.
They have a trade commission they are working on to try to enhance some trade between specifically Louisiana and Ireland.
Okay.
But Pontchartrain Conservancy has a very special connection to the Irish.
Let me think. How would you have a special connection to the Irish? Would it have anything to do with the Irish Channel?
Well, that's where they settled
Yes.
when they came over.
Yeah.
So I'm not a historian. I might get some of the dates a little bit mixed up here, but along Lake Pontchartrain, back in the 1800s, so let's just go back to even earlier than that. So Louisiana Purchase. How about I give you a little quiz? What year was that?
Louisiana Purchase was in 1803.
1803, yes.
Yes.
So,
Did not want to look stupid.
There's a little bit of an urban legend. The French that were living in New Orleans at the time were not happy about the Louisiana Purchase. They did not want to be Americans.
Okay.
They were all living in the French Quarter, right? So living along the high ground of the river. But there was a lot of commerce activity along Lake Pontchartrain on the northern end of the city. But people did not live there as very small people.
I think I know where this is going.
Do you? Okay.
Tell me if I'm wrong. A canal was dug by the Irish that is now Pontchartrain Boulevard once it was filled back in. Am I right?
You are
okay.
right.
And a lot of mosquitoes and a lot of death.
That is yes.
And a really good book titled Lace Curtain. So.
Yes. So the French that were living here, again, were not happy about being Americans. And so the urban legend is that they would not allow any American ships to enter the waterway that they had been using, which is Bayou St. John.
Okay.
So they would block access to any American ships. And the Americans were like, fine, we'll go build our own canal and we'll do our own thing. So they went a mile west and brought in the Irish to dig the canal. There was a potato famine in Ireland at the time in the 1830s era. And so the Irish came here, lived in the Irish Channel, worked along the lakefront, dug the canal by hand. And you're correct. The working conditions were horrible. There was no OSHA back then. Yellow fever about that time.
Yep.
So yes, tens of thousands of them died digging the canal. And there's a memorial cross on West End Boulevard to memorialize the workers that were there to dig the new canal. But the lighthouse was constructed to navigate the entrance to the new canal. And that's our office.
That part I did not know.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love that. So yes, I did know about the Pontchartrain Boulevard end of it and whatnot, and why the Irish labor was used and everything. I mean, new arrivals and it's what I find amazing though is like they filled it back in. Like why? I mean, you had it, keep it.
Well, we had cars.
Well, that's true, but now now we have cars bottom out.
Yeah.
If you're anywhere in Lakeview, right?
Yes. Lots of subsidence in the area, so the roads are not really holding up too well to that.
So okay, well, Irish consulate, that's a big highlight for sure.
It was very cool and definitely a little different than all the other activities.
I would imagine so. We're talking with Christy Trail from the Pontchartrain Conservancy. All right, well, let's get down to a little bit of business. What's the latest with y'all?
Well, we got lots of really exciting things going on. We just recently were awarded a new grant from NOAA. So shout out to our Louisiana delegation up here for helping us along getting that grant from NOAA, focusing on marine debris. And specifically looking at the impacts from marine debris around large scale events that we have in New Orleans. This grant is really focused on New Orleans waterways. So things like Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest. Do we see a spike in marine debris in our waterways when we have large scale events? So we're going to be studying that over the next couple of years. My guess is yes, but we'll have the data to show it.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I'm wondering about that. Like, I mean, it's got to go a long way to get from the streets through the sewers to out. I mean, it's
the storm drain canals. Yes.
Yeah,
so, if it rains, if we get a heavy rain and there's bees all over the street, they get washed down the storm drains and straight up to Lake Pontchartrain. So this is one of our educational messages that we work with the community on is that stormwater really is not filtered or cleaned. It really goes just straight into Lake Pontchartrain. So that's why it's so important to keep those things out of the storm drains and our canals and ditches, because otherwise it ends up right in Lake Pontchartrain.
Okay, so how long is this study going to be?
3 years.
3 years. Wow. Okay. I mean, I feel like you're going to have an answer in one, right?
Maybe so.
Okay, I mean, if it happens next year, it's going to happen the next year.
Like long
I understand that. I get that. But I mean, let's be real. If it happens next year, it's going to happen after that. What about on the coastal front? What's the latest in battling for Louisiana's coast?
Yes, lots going on in the battle for Louisiana's coast. The state each year publishes their coastal annual plan,
Mhm.
and that is their list of projects in priority order of what they would like to spend money on. And they request from the Louisiana legislature a bucket of money to do so. So that plan has now been compiled. It will be presented to the Louisiana legislature this coming legislative session, which kicks off in March. But the good thing is for your listeners is that it's open for public comment. So it is out on CPRA's website.
Okay.
There are public comments. The state is taking public comments up until February 18th.
Mhm.
So now is the time. Dust off your readers. It's a long plan. Take a look at it and submit those public comments to the state.
I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, and I'm not going to try to make you say something that's like going to bury politically, but public comment, I don't know science. Like, what can I have to contribute to something like this? Do we get feedback from, like, I guess if I lived on the coast, it might be a little bit different, but is there a lot of valuable feedback that comes from it?
There is a lot of valuable feedback that comes from it. And this is where your nonprofit partners come in to help
Okay.
you.
Yes.
Help you, community member here in Louisiana. Are you interested in commenting on the plan? You call us. We can help give you some bullet points, some summaries. We've read it. We've taken a look at it. And the state does have an obligation to read through those, consider each comment, and then make any iterations or changes to the plan before it is finalized and brought to the Louisiana legislature this coming session.
What are some of the highlights of the plan as it is? What are you looking forward to seeing implemented should it move through?
Well, I'm going to actually start with some things that are missing from the plan
Okay.
that we are quite disappointed are not in there.
For example?
So for the first time in decades, the state's plan does not include any large-scale diversions, which would connect the Mississippi River back to the coast to build some long-term sustainable coastal restoration projects. So we do see a lot of small projects, but interestingly, in years past, and you know, it's kind of, again, like wonky stuff here, they have a master plan, which is the long multi-year view, and then each year they do an annual plan. The current master plan does have the diversions in there because we're just kind of still operating in that window. And so what the state does is the scientists will then model all these different projects for success, for the best ROI, based on all of those projects working together. None of those projects really will succeed if they're just built as one. They all have to work together, right? You build a little bit here, you build a little bit there. They succeed because they're both there together. If you take out the largest component of coastal restoration and then try to continue some of those smaller projects, they will not succeed. And so unfortunately, that's what we are seeing in this current annual plan is a much smaller scale projects without that large scale project to make them all succeed.
We talked a little bit yesterday with Liz Russell about sediment diversion, and the Mid-Barrett area came up, and that's a big hit because there were a lot of people who know what they're doing and know what the science is who were super excited about this project. And I asked her the question is like, if you can acknowledge that a small scale sediment diversion would be successful, why wouldn't a large scale sediment diversion be successful? Do too many variables open up, or is it just a matter of the argument needs to be made better with the right people in place? What is, like, I guess I asked her what's the point, but there's a better way to say that of like, can we utilize smaller sediment diversions to show success to retract towards the larger projects?
Well, possibly, but the state has been doing this for decades, has gone through all of those iterations, has modeled every scenario, and the state came up with the best optimal number that will have the best ROI on those dollars. And then one day just flipped a switch and said, oh, you know what? Never mind. We've just picked a number out of thin air and we're going to go with this other number.
Where did the rest of the money go to? Where are the rest of projects that it would be, diverted to?
Well, here's the other unfortunate issue about all that. So we all remember in 2010, we had a big incident hit our coastline with the Deepwater Horizon. So tragic incidents, sometimes gifts come out of those. Louisiana got a gift of that, of some money that we were authorized to utilize for the diversion. So the state has a gift, again, came out of a tragedy, to build the diversion without taxpayer dollars at all of this modeling and science at the proper scale. And the folks that hold that money at the federal level have said, okay, we're going to analyze this. All right, we've looked at it. We approve. You all have done your job. You've done the due diligence and the science. Then one day the state said, yeah, actually, we're not going to do that. We're just going to turn that off and we do some other stuff. Well, don't think that they can use those oil spill dollars for any project that they want. There are some rules around that. So are we now looking at taxpayer dollars instead?
That would be bad if that were the case. I mean, still valuable would be bad. But at the same time, though, I guess there's my answer to why have a smaller scale sediment diversion if it keeps that faucet open of the BP dollars.
Well, but the BP dollars are very restricted.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yes. So they have a lot of restrictions on what they can be used for. They can be used for barrier islands, and they can be used for sediment diversions.
Okay. Where are we at on the barrier island front?
We've been doing some great work on the barrier islands, and that is one of the good things in the plan that we see. Something like the Chandelier Islands, continued push on rebuilding the Chandelier Islands, which is near and dear to our heart of Pontchartrain Conservancy.
Yes.
It's kind of the edge of our Pontchartrain Basin, if you will, out to the far east over there. If you haven't been out there, it's beautiful. They've got turtles nesting out there now, which has been a long time. It's one of the few areas in Louisiana that has marine sea grasses because it just has that salty air and salty soil that can thrive out there. So it's got some really unique habitat, but it provides a valuable storm surge buffer as well. And so that's one of the things that's been in the plan for the past couple of years, has continued to be in the plan. So we are excited to see that.
Barrier islands are what made me fall in love with what y'all do. And after Hurricane Ida, I got hooked up with a helicopter ride down to Grand Isle. And you could definitely see the difference between the western side of Grand Isle and the eastern side of Grand Isle. Eastern side, which actually is, I guess, a little bit closer to where the action was, came out better, and there's a barrier island right there. Western side, absolutely destroyed and overrun with not just the wind knocking things down, but the push of the storm surge as well. Storm surge was so much less on the eastern side of the island, and it was clearly, like, if you're just looking at it, you can't tell me it wasn't the barrier island that saved the day on that end.
Oh yeah, that, and if you're just standing out there on a barrier island on any given day, Chandelier, Grand Isle, and you can name it, and you look out at the Gulf side and you see waves just coming in, and you turn around and you look on the backside, on the sound side, it's a little bit calmer.
Yep.
Because those barrier islands are there as part of storm surge protection. So when a bigger storm comes, they also do their job too.
Very, very much so. I got just a couple minutes left with Christy Trail. I'm actually keeping you a little bit longer than I said I would. But within those, let's talk about what your mission has been up here. Everybody that comes to Washington Mardi Gras knows what they want to do and knows what they're hoping to accomplish and the like. So what's your mission been up here?
To make connections. So we are a small local nonprofit. We don't have many connections in DC. We do rely on our federal members up here to keep their eye on things that are important to us, such as funding for things like the mid-barrier sediment diversion, making sure those funds are used properly from the Deepwater Horizon incident, and other projects that we have around the coast, such as restoring the Mississippi River Gulf Outlet System, the Mr. Go, that is included in the federal appropriations bill, assuming the government's not going to shut down and get that money in there, right?
It is Friday at 5:20 back home, 6:20 here in Washington, D.C., so I haven't even looked to see if those votes have been made yet.
I haven't either. I thought you were going to tell me and say that we're all good. But
No.
There's some money in there for the coast, so let's hope it gets through.
Absolutely. And so if we could take just a minute to talk about those connections in D.C. Part of Washington Mardi Gras is, a lot happens here at the Hilton and a lot happens at different, set meeting places and other hotels and whatnot. But getting out and about in D.C., y'all, where can you grow contacts out there? Are there similar organizations that would be, different regionalities or whatnot? Or, is there advocacy like up and down K Street, or all the letter streets and whatnot?
We do. We have some sister organizations around the country. There's a lot of very similar organizations. In Louisiana, our sister agency is BITNEP, but there's similar organizations all around the country. So you're correct. We can make some connections there with that. But most importantly, with our elected officials, again, reminding them, hey, we are still down there in Louisiana. We want to help you know about the work that we do. Keep an eye on some dollars, not only for the coast, but in the Pontchartrain Basin specifically, because we don't have staff up here. So this is our one chance to kind of knock it all, they're all together. I couldn't come up here and meet with all 8 delegation members in a 3-day time span any other time, but knowing that they're all here and want to meet with you, it's a great time to knock all those meetings out. But similarly, all the state people are up here too. So as crazy as it sounds, getting people from Louisiana up here, but they're also in the same room. So the entire St. Tammany delegation was all in one room. We could just take 5 minutes and shake their hands and be like, hey, we want to talk to you about some potential projects around Lake Pontchartrain on the North Shore. They're all there at one time. They all heard the message at the same time. It's so great.
See, when you think coastal, you never think St. Tammany. But it's right there. The lake connects to the Gulf, so it is the same thing.
And they've got a lot of work going on.
Speaking of Lake Pontchartrain, if you don't want to touch on this, fine. But whatever you can tell me, I'm always looking for more feedback on a recent crisis. The Smitty supply explosion that happened last year, we're still continuing to see repercussions in Tangipahoa River. Tangipahoa River flows into Lake Pontchartrain. You are with the Pontchartrain Conservancy. Is there any crossover there in your world versus, or to go along with what's happening in that continued crisis?
There is. I will just touch on my past experience in my former life, that I am quite familiar with oil spill response. And I think the unfortunate part is that there was a pretty poor response initially to the crisis of the facility.
Mm-hmm.
There was a massive explosion, and I understand the need to make sure that the facility was safe before responders could really get in there.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately once that site was secured, from our perspective, it feels like there could have been a better response in terms of containing the oil and the chemicals that leaked into the waterway. We are not equipped to test the water for any constituents. We test the water regularly, but what we're testing for is sewage. So we did go out to the site about 3 days after the explosion because we were like, oh my gosh, we've got to see what's going on. And we looked at it and we just don't have the equipment, the PPE. Folks need to be really careful if they're out there collecting samples with some of those things. Make sure that you have the proper PPE on and gloves and things like that. We don't have the equipment to collect the samples, but we are working with other nonprofits that are keeping an eye on it because, again, the response from our perspective was lacking. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it will continue. I've got a buddy who lives on the Tangipahoa River. He's been pulling samples literally every day. And he's been diligent about it. But you'll see like pictures on Facebook of like mason jars or Mardi Gras cups full of ick. I mean, just so it is bad, and I don't think we know just how bad or how long it's going to be bad.
I think that's exactly right. We really just don't know yet, and that's just so unfortunate. Southeastern, I know, has been out there doing some studies,
Yep.
And so we partner with them, and we're just happy to coordinate with them any way we can to kind of get more information.
She is Christy Trail with the Pontchartrain Conservancy. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to continue in just a little bit. Ran a little bit long in that segment, not to worry. We're going to take a quick break. We'll pick it back up. This is Talk 107.3's coverage of Washington Mardi Gras. Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna go eat this cookie.
Enjoy.
What are you doing this evening?
I've got dinner with LTA. Well, it's Chris. Chris Landry from LTA?
Why do I know that name? No.
All
What is
right.
that?
Louisiana Travel Association.
Travel. Okay, I've known that name. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's me, him,
I think he lives
Andrew.
on the North Shore.
He does.
Yeah. Okay.
Andrew Ward from the Boot.
Okay. So you're not going to this thing here?
No. I've been to the captain's dinner twice. That was plenty. And at one time,
I'm going, but
well,
again, networking is good. It's pretty boring.
good. The mic's down. It's boring as shit. One year, I sat with a bunch of people I didn't know just because I got like a spare ticket.
No, then that's not.
That was terrible. The other year, I sat with people who I unfortunately have to speak poorly of from time to time on the radio. I sat with Gordon McKernan.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm big on the insurance reform push, the tort reform push and whatnot.
Oh my gosh.
And
Interesting.
Gordon got me plowed that night. I stumbled away. And he,
He's
by
like,
the
here,
way,
drink this. Here, drink this.
he's not a bad guy. He's a really, really great guy. He realizes every blessing he has in his life.
Mm-hmm.
He gets it when it comes to the overall conversation. He is functioning in the rules that were created. So
I get that too.
can't hate on him.
Yep. I get that too. Okay. Well, enjoy.
We'll do.
I'll be at the dinner dance. I got to go change.
Enjoy. Yeah, you get a quick turnaround.
I know, right?
So
All right. I'll see you later.
thank you, Christy.
Thank you. Sorry about the time mix up.
No, we're all good.
The Baton Rouge Metro Airport, Presley Wealth Management, Restore the Mississippi River Delta, and the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. It's Washington Mardi Gras, right here on Talk 107.3 FM.
Wherever you go, flying BTR is the way to go. VTR is closer, with way easier parking and way quicker check-in. Baton Rouge Metro Airport, the smarter way to go. Fly BTR.com.
Banking shouldn't be complicated. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust aims to make it feel like a breeze. With powerful digital tools and personal local service, they give you the confidence of a big bank with the heart of a community bank. Get to know Gulf Coast Bank and Trust and coast into better banking. Member FDIC.
Broadcasting from one swamp to another, coverage of Washington Mardi Gras is on Talk 107.3 now.
Picking it back up from the Washington Hilton. Yes, we are continuing our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras. Of course, presented by Presley Wealth Management, the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, Restore the Mississippi River Delta, who we just talked to, and the great folks over at Rev. Man, we're going to get ourselves back on time here in just a minute. So we're going to take a short segment here and then a break. And then when we come back from that break, we're going to speak with Brett Gordon and Bailey Morse from Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. And then before we get out of here, we're going to speak with Zach Kilshaw, political strategist. Looking forward to both of those conversations. As we get ourselves back on track, though, in talking about Washington Mardi Gras, and one of the sponsors of the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, they also sponsor my morning show. Got to tell you, with everything that happened heading into the week, with the winter storm and everything, and it knocked everything out of kilter, one of the things that I love with a business is not necessarily when something goes wrong, but in how they make it right. And with the American Airlines, I was supposed to be on the direct flight from Baton Rouge to DC. Tell you about that flight every single morning on my show. Absolutely love the fact that we have it. Absolutely love the convenience and the number of people who were able to take advantage of it. When that flight got canceled, the folks at American have gone out of their way to make sure that my flight home is going to be amazing. So I wanted to give them a quick shout out because they've had a rough week, as has most folks around the nation, or within that 2,000-mile swath that was this winter storm that passed through last week. We are looking at another deep freeze or plunge of temperatures back home in Louisiana and here in Washington, D.C. as well. The governor sent out an alert message earlier today reminding everybody the weather will be dangerously cold this weekend. Safely heat your homes. Utilize local warming centers if you need help. And, of course, they've got everything over at getagameplan.org. But with that, though, we're looking at another round of cold weather, but not going to have the same storms that came along with that last round. All right. The Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. What's their mission up here at Washington Mardi Gras? Well, we've got Brett Gordon and Bailey Morse joining us next, right here on Talk 107.3 FM.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Watch for an accident on I-10 westbound approaching Dalrymple. Heading from Ascension Parish to the bridge, it's a 48-minute delay. On I-12 east from the 1012 to Range, it's an 11-minute drive. East on Florida Boulevard from Airline to Denham Springs, 17-minute drive. If you see traffic problems, dial pound 250, keyword Baton Rouge traffic. I'm Lisa Paquet.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Blindster. I started Blindster in my garage back in 2010. Since then, we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Our blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com.
This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Talk 107.3 and Citizens Bank and Trust are back with another major sweepstakes in 2026. This time, we want to cover your car payments. It's a $5,000 grand prize with a bonus chance to win free car washes from Benny's Car Wash for 6 months. We're also letting you earn extra entries by subscribing on our Talk 107.3 Baton Rouge YouTube channel. To sign up, visit Talk1073.com. From Citizens Bank, Benny's Car Wash, and Talk 107.3.
It's time to do a 180 with your IT, and that's why I'm happy to tell you about 180 Pros. What's different about 180 Pros? Well, yeah, they've got the latest in cybersecurity. They can build out and maintain your network. That's all true. But how about this? Simplified billing, guaranteed response times, and how about a full-on relationship? 180 Pros is not your IT provider. They're your IT partner. Want to learn more? Check them out online at 180pros.com. That's 180pros.com, or give them a call, 225-330-2200.
Buying or selling a new home? Mid-City Title makes it easy. Mobile closings, expert services, midcitytitle.com.
Talk 107.3 Weather.
An extreme cold warning taking effect overnight tonight and lasting through Sunday morning. First tonight, as we have just a few clouds left over in skies, winds will pick up out of the north at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and as low temperatures go into the upper 20s, wind chills will be in the teens and single digits. Despite sunshine on Saturday, highs get just above freezing in the upper 30s, but wind chills will remain in the teens and 20s through the day, and then low temperatures crash into the upper teens on Sunday morning, a sunny afternoon, and a high of 46. Josh with the Storm Station forecast, WBRZ Channel 2.
Hey, Brian, you ready? Hey, Brian. Hey, Brian. Yo. Hey, Brian. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
The conversation from the Capitol continues. Coverage of Washington Mardi Gras is on Talk 107.3 now.
Continuing our discussions from Washington Mardi Gras, or our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras. Last half hour, we're in the home stretch here, but we're nowhere near done with the content. Okay, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you will see that I have vacated the camera because I've got 2 chairs to my name. So we're giving those chairs to Brett Gordon and Bailey Morse from the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. Welcome aboard. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing wonderful. Thank you.
Y'all are way better dressed than me. I'm only in cocktail attire, but y'all are heading to the big formal event?
We are, and it's cold outside.
It is very cold outside.
Yeah.
I saw the warnings going up back in Louisiana and whatnot. And our overnight low here in D.C. is 9.
Yeah.
9.
Feels like -9.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Because there's so much ice still on the ground.
Yeah, the time here has been great. The challenge is all the weather.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Ice on the roads and ice on the sidewalks.
Yeah. Number one, we're not built for that.
No.
And number 2, we didn't pack the right stuff for that. Like, it's just everything I packed for is inside.
I do not recommend crossing the street in high heels.
It's
an Olympic sport.
It ought to be. My goodness. We got a lot of ground to cover. I want to start off before we get into what y'all are aiming to do up here at Washington Mardi Gras. Let's just give the quick little recap of where LOPA is, what LOPA needs, and really what messaging you send out on a day-to-day basis. So.
Yeah, let's start with who we are. Right?
Yeah.
Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. We have the opportunity to serve the community of Louisiana and offer the opportunity for organ donation. So it's really Bailey and I and the rest of the team at LOPA, a 300+ member strong group across the entire state, to be able to serve the community, to offer organ donation and really save lives. That's really what our goal is every day, is the opportunity to the 2,000 people that are across the state of Louisiana, our friends, our neighbors, our family that are in need of an organ transplant, the opportunity to serve them with an organ donation. And that comes from the community members as well. So as an individual reaches the point of end of life, we then step in and support care for those individuals. And if it's their interest to then offer organ donation, we step in with the recovery and be able to help support the process and provide support and grief to the families that are in that position.
Give me some numbers. Talk about frequency a little bit. How often are we able to do this?
Yeah, we're really proud of what we do here in the state of Louisiana. Along with 55 other organ procurement organizations across the country, we operate in isolation here in Louisiana. As part of that, we are a contractor of the federal government. And as part of that, we support really the entire nation when it comes to organ donation. Last year, we had the opportunity to serve over 3,000 families over 3,000 families in care, end-of-life care.
Yeah.
That led to 838 tissue donors. So we have the opportunity to save and heal lives through tissue donation as well. And then we worked with 336 families for organ donation. And through that process, we were able to transplant over 997 organs last year.
Right.
A record for our organization and a record for the Louisiana community.
Sorry, when you say that number, is that in Louisiana?
It is. So those are organs recovered. Not all of them get transplanted in Louisiana.
Right.
A good amount of them do. But we also are saving lives throughout the entire state, or excuse me, the entire country.
Yeah, and if you're here at Washington Mardi Gras, you may have seen our beads that we're passing out. Those beads have an additional symbolic meaning behind them because each one of them represents one of those 997 organs that we transplanted in
Right.
2025.
Yeah, we're handing out 997 beads to individuals, and we're just spreading awareness about organ donation.
Very, very cool. Well, so yeah, I wanted to talk about what your mission is up here at Washington Mardi Gras, because everybody's got their own, everybody knows what they want to accomplish when they get here. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to stick with, the business at hand a little bit. When you are spreading awareness, what do you find are the biggest challenges to, like, if there's somebody who does not want to be an organ donor, what are the hurdles?
There's a lot of myth to organ donation. How does it work?
Yeah.
Will people care for me all the way until the end? That's really the whole setup of the system. The intentionality of the hospital is to care all the way until the point of an individual is no longer in a position to be able to sustain life. And once that happens, then we really step in, independent of the hospitals, to be able to support them. So we really deal with and educate the public around organ donation to ensure that they understand and are educated enough to be able to make the best decision for them, whether it's to be an organ donor or not. We just really want to work with the public and the community to make sure they're informed to make the best decision possible for them and their families.
Yeah. And to add on to that, I would say just normalizing the conversation around donation. It truly is a gift. And I think it's so in line with who we are as a Louisiana people, that we just naturally have this ability to give and the want to give. So I don't think that there is a better opportunity that is more aligned with who we are as a people than the act of donation.
I'm a numbers guy. I mean, you start tossing numbers out, and I get very interested when you tell me 997. Those sorts of things impress me and convince me. But a lot of times it's more the anecdotal story. What do you find is more effective in messaging? Is it the individual story, or is it like the overall number of not just lives saved, but years added because of,
Yeah, I'll start, and I'll let Bailey jump in here too. It's the individual stories. Everything that we do is part of our mission. We are a public serving organization serving the public good. That's what we do. We provide an opportunity for individuals that want to serve others through the gift of donation. It's our job to carry that out. And then we want to save lives with the ability to recover those organs. And so it's the individual stories. We have a lot of stories in what we do, and it's those individual stories that really help. And Bailey and her family have had an opportunity to really support our mission as well.
Absolutely. So my mother-in-law was both an organ transplant recipient and also a donor in her death. So when you ask, what is the impact? It's those stories. It's the people who have been able to experience a quality of life, enjoy more years because of the last gracious act of a generous donor and their families who courageously chose to say yes.
Right.
And it's the willingness and the desire to pass that same gift on to a stranger.
Yeah.
And to find comfort in that gift.
Yeah.
And to carry you forward.
I would just add that really every story that we have is really a legacy that's been created, right? To take the end of life and be able to then pass it on to somebody else is one of the greatest gifts in the world.
How important is it? And I know this is going to be a factor, but how important is it to have that firsthand story versus a secondhand story?
They all matter.
Yeah.
They all matter. And I think it is just important for us, our goal is we find that so many people out there support donation, but getting them to turning that support into true believers and finding those champions for donation. And like I said, we as a Louisiana people, we champion gifts. We are willing to give the shirts off of our back to our neighbor and our friend. So there is not a more profound act that a Louisianan can be a part of. And that's the beautiful part about donation is that every Louisianan, regardless of where you come from, can choose to say yes to this.
Absolutely. Got a couple minutes left with Brent Gordon and Bailey Morris from the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. If you've ever driven up I-12, you've seen the building. If you've been in 12 in St. Tammany Parish, gorgeous facility right there.
It is.
It is.
So I'm from there, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm from Covington. So
we're very
yeah.
We're very proud of our facility. We have facilities throughout the state of Louisiana. Our headquarters is in Covington, the Covington area. We're very proud of what we have there. It's a multi-story facility, but it's essentially a small hospital.
Yeah.
So we have an opportunity to do all of our organ recovery in that facility, as
Okay.
well as all of our tissue recovery, to be able to support the recovery process and ensure that we're maximizing the gift that those individuals are providing.
I'm sorry, you had a little point of differentiation right there: organ recovery versus tissue recovery.
Yes.
Talk to me about tissue recovery a little bit, because I think everybody's a little bit more, because organ procurement is right there in the
Sure.
name. So
Sure. Yeah, maybe one of the best ways to convey that is there's a number of different tissues that individuals can donate upon the end of their life. One of the most powerful ones is the gift of cornea donation. So an individual can provide a gift of donation through corneas, and that then the support that they're providing then is the gift of sight to another individual that is in need of a corneal transplant. And so we work with organizations as well as corneal transplant surgeons throughout the state of Louisiana and other states to be able to support their patients with a corneal transplant.
Wow, unbelievable stuff.
Something as simple as being able to see color
Right?
and see life again.
Yeah. Unbelievable stuff. All right, so now let's get down to it. The mission here at Washington Mardi Gras is what? Who do you want to talk to? Who are you looking to connect with? The whole works.
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
The state of Louisiana is, I mean, the people are our customer. They really are. And we are so lucky to have the great privilege and the great honor of serving the entire state. And it's something that we take very seriously, but it's something we're very proud to carry out. So regardless of who you are and where you are, we want to connect with you.
To add to Bailey's point, I believe we're all in the relationship management business. And
Yes.
what we're doing here is really the camaraderie, the fellowship, the engagement, educating people. We're passing out, as Bailey had mentioned earlier, we're passing out these beads to honor the gifts that were given, 997 of them, which is what the number of organ transplants we did in 2025, and just sharing those stories and educating people and helping them understand. And this is a great event and a great opportunity to be able to connect with a lot of people, certainly a number of people that are positioned more in Washington, but there's a lot of people from the state of Louisiana that have flown up here for the week, and it's a chance to engage and connect with them.
Last thing before we get you out of here, for those that are listening back home in Baton Rouge, if they are not organ donors yet, where do they need to go?
You can go to a number of different places. You can go through your LA Wallet app to be able to sign up to be an organ donor. You can also go to lopa.org, which is LOPA.org. Learn more about organ donation. A chance to, there's opportunity on our website to be educated about that so that you can make an informed decision that works best for you and your family, and you can register right there as well.
In addition to that, I would say, even if you're not quite ready to register as a donor, have the conversation with your family.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we find is just be willing to have that conversation. So in the event you don't get around to registering your donation decision, make sure your family knows what your wishes are.
Absolutely. And then knowing I had to travel, I had to re-up to get a real ID. And when I went back in to get my real ID, they said, would you like to continue to be an organ donor? So that was probably the easiest yes.
Yeah, Brian, we really
Well,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
saying that.
Of course.
Thank you.
Brett, Bailey, thank y'all so much. You've got a dinner to get to, and we've got a break to get to. Thank y'all for hopping on board.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to close it out in just a little bit. This is Talk 107.3's coverage of Washington Mardi Gras.
Feeling overwhelmed by retirement planning? Drew Pelton Investment Services simplifies the process with income first, growth second investment strategies tailored to you. Join us Saturday mornings at 10 for Retirement Income with Drew Pelton.
Yo, Baton Rouge, this is Jacob Hester. Oshner Andrews Institute is here to get you moving and keep you moving. Their team of experts connects you to more specialized care with a nationally renowned orthopedic and sports medicine program, providing the most advanced equipment and modern facilities, including convenient walk-in orthopedic clinics, covering you from the field to fast forward your healing. Oshner Andrews Institute. Long live you. Learn more at oshner.org/BRortho.
Talk 107.3 FM is giving you more moon. No, not that kind of moon. Starting Monday, February 2nd, get the full moon. The Moon Griffon Show is a full 3 hours. Weekdays from 9 a.m. till noon. There's another hour of opinions, insight, and conversation you love. From the voice of Louisiana, the gravity of Louisiana talk just got stronger. Don't miss the Moon Griffon Show. Weekdays 9 to noon, starting February 2nd on Talk 107.3.
It all comes down to this, folks. Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain. Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast. Speaking of fast, did you just see that play? Yeah, he Vaporize that ball. That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Every day, St. Vincent de Paul of Baton Rouge provides dental care, life-saving medications, and compassionate support for neighbors in need, all at no cost. You can help make healing possible. Learn more at svdpbr.net. St. Vincent de Paul of Baton Rouge. Give, serve, shop.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability, making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Louisiana business, politics, and culture, all from the Hill. Coverage of Washington Mardi Gras is on Talk 107.3.
One segment to go here from the Champions Lounge, LSU suite at the Washington Hilton as we're wrapping up our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras. Of course, presented by Baton Rouge Metro Airport, Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association, REV, Restore the Mississippi River Delta, and Presley Wealth Management. Want to wrap things up by taking maybe a little more of a political look at what's going on here at Washington Mardi Gras, because normally there's a lot of politics in the hallway. This year, I've been seeing more economic development than politics, but I want to get somebody else's take on it. So we've got Zach Kilshaw. He's a political consultant with EchoBox Solutions.
EchoBox Communications.
And see, I knew I was going to screw that up.
That's okay.
Anyway, welcome aboard, man. Appreciate you carving out a couple minutes on Friday night. I know this is where business starts to wind down and social starts to crank up. So
sure.
Appreciate you getting in under the wire, man.
It's great to be here. I think, what is this, my 4th, 5th time on your program?
Yeah, thereabouts. And 2 of them have been up here. Remember last year we were in Troy Carter's storeroom.
we were talking about Mayor President Edwards' historic win.
By the way, Mayor President Edwards last night at Louisiana Live, he got so much juice out of that, seeing the overwhelming number of. So for those who don't know Louisiana Live, the center of the room is 4 stages that are in a circle, and then it's surrounded by a whole bunch of people and restaurants and just like a serving line, like kind of like a Taste of Louisiana type of thing. And then you've got corporate booths on around the outside right there. I want to know. I might have to follow up with Coach later on, but his take on that was basically the overwhelming amount of people coming together and just, oh my gosh, everything he saw throughout the day, and it ends in a party like that.
So what I think is so beautiful is, the mayor is such a people's mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first time that he has been able to ever come up to Washington Mardi Gras.
Yep.
Last year we had that historic snowstorm that kept everybody grounded. I know I had 7 flight cancellations. And the mayor stayed on the ground to make sure that the people of Baton Rouge were safe.
Mm-hmm.
He was coordinating through MOSEP and making sure that all, first responders were being able to get, out, that homeless people on the streets were being able to get to shelters. And so he's up this year. And the first thing I asked him, I said, what do you think? And he goes, oh my gosh, Zach, it is the most overwhelming experience. It was way different than I thought it was going to be. And I'm so glad that he got to come and experience this with Miss Beanie as well.
And the debrief after it's over with is going to be awesome, because
no question.
He's a sponge. He's going to take in a lot.
Sure. Probably
not going to redistribute it back out in all in one thing, but over time, over the next couple of months or so, we're going to see a lot of implementation. In fact, I had Jen Rocca on the show this morning, Metro Councilwoman Jen Rocca, talking about the blight flight. Absolutely. And what she's taking away from it here. But I want to broaden this out, though. Let's talk overall. What has been your takeaway so far?
So there have been a lot of, with Congresswoman Letlow's announcement for her U.S. Senate run. Obviously, there's been a lot of buzz around this Washington Mardi Gras. There were some key fundraisers that occurred earlier this week. And as you said, the more social aspects of Washington Mardi Gras are coming to the forefront. Another great thing, Paul Hollis was sworn in to the U.S. Mint today. That was a great experience. Speaker Johnson swore him in, which was very, very, very cool, to be a part of that. And, the governor had a great fundraiser. Julie had a great fundraiser. Senator Cassidy had a great fundraiser. Everybody's gearing up for campaigns right now. I mean, there's going to be a big congressional run, for Julia's seat. For those that don't know, she had to vacate to run for U.S. Senate. So, that district is wide open, and we've got, Senator Rick Edmonds in that race. You've got House Representative Dixon McMakin, and many others that are, skirting around, potentially jumping.
There's 3 or 4 more that are either in or out. In fact, we've the 2 big confirmed no's, I think, are as big a news as those who have said yes. The big confirmed no's, of
with
course,
Todd.
With Garrett.
With Garrett, yes, absolutely.
Garrett, what was it on? I believe it was on Wednesday. He said he was out, and then this morning we confirmed it. And not everybody in Baton Rouge thinks this is a big deal, but Friday Ellis opted out. Mayor of Monroe, rising star in politics right now. This would have been an optimal time for her. Now it's probably gonna be someone from the capital area that wins the seat, but this is a seat that originally came from Northeast Louisiana. I don't think they would have gone out without a fight. So Friday Ellis staying on task in Monroe, I think, was kind of a big deal.
Well, I think what's interesting is that if we kind of go down this rabbit hole and we see that, Garrett staying out of this race, does that mean he gears himself up for a gubernatorial run? The other thing is, I think most people don't understand about this congressional district. It's about 25-26% Baton Rouge. I-10, I-12 split, easy. That gives advantages to Representative McMakin and Senator Edmonds, certainly, because that's their constituencies. So I'm really excited to see where this race goes. I honestly think it was better for the mayor to stay out of this race because there's so many big names that are tiptoeing around being in, and there's so many big names that are already, at the forefront.
No, absolutely. It is the right call. I agree with that. If he had taken a swing, I would not have been surprised. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
That being said, I was expecting a few more, we didn't get any big political announcements while we were up here. Nobody dove into the race head first while we were up here.
No, there's been, I certainly believe there's been some maneuvering, but as far as some big cannonball splash, no, there hasn't been anything.
What else have you been hearing? In the hallways, the off the record conversations that are only sort of off the record, that sort of thing.
So, I mean, there's nothing major. It's obviously just the maneuvering of how fundraising dollars are going to be spent in these respective campaigns. And I think that you're going to be seeing some interesting coming weeks.
Okay.
1 minute.
I am of the argument, we got 1 minute to go here. I am of the argument that the closed primaries have pushed things up a little bit.
Well, sure.
But for Washington Mardi Gras perspective, I think it's a little bit more buttoned up right now. Everybody's got their game face on. Nobody's giving out bulletin board material right now. Like, everybody's really got their game face on, honed in for May.
Well, everybody's got to play this close to the vest.
Yeah.
And myself included, and for a variety of different reasons. I want to, I'm in the middle of as you know, I'm running a campaign in Iberville and Assumption right now for Brad Daigle. He's been on your show 2 times now.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
And we're in the middle of an early voting with Election Day on February 7th. So
all right.
Gearing up for that.
And in the meanwhile, we've both got a dinner to get to, and we
yes, we do.
Here. So, y'all, thank y'all so much for playing along with our coverage of Washington Mardi Gras. It is always informative, always pulls back the curtain just a little bit. Thank you to Zach Kilshaw for stopping by to close us out. Strong close right there, Zach. We got to go. We got to get out of here. I will be back on the air Monday morning on Talk 107.3 FM. It'll be mornings with Brian Haldane back in the 180 Pro studio. So we're signing off from Champions Lounge.
Team, build it sooner. Need your match on Zip.
All right, Facebook, we got to bounce. We'll see y'all.